This is Yerushalmi Peah, Daf Yotes in the article Oz V'Hadar edition. We got yesterday to V'Ha Ashkechan, which is 7 lines down on Yotes Amar Aleph, and that is in the Vilna on Yud Aleph from the base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines, 7 lines down. Also V'Ha Ashkechan. Shocking. So yesterday we said the Shita of Yerushalmi is that something which is chiyuv peah is mapsik, something which is ptur peah is not mapsik, and that the opposite evidently of the Gemara in the Bavli and Menachos. But the Yerushalmi now is the Shita. So continuing. V'ashkan the Meir chiyuv peah mapsik. I know the Meir holds that the chiyuv peah, meaning a different chiyuv peah in the middle of a field, interrupts the field. Kadad tiny, like that which in the brisa. Ochlu guvai. If part of the field is eaten by locusts, kismuna malim, it was sheared by ants. Shivar ruach, it was broken by the wind. Or behema ptura. That area is part from peah because it wasn't properly harvested. Even there's grain there, wasn't harvested by human being. Hakomodim im choresh mafsik. Everybody agrees that if he plowed mafsik, it interrupts. Im lo choresh eino mafsik. If it didn't plow, it doesn't interrupt. What's the raya? Mani hakomodim. Who is this hakomodim that concedes this point? Lavre Mary, is it not Lavre Meir? It's not Meir. Hada Amara, Mipnei Shu Ptur Peah. This something which is a Ptur Peah is only mafsik if he's choresh. Okay, the Tana Kama holds that Ptur Peah is mafsik even if he's not choresh, even doesn't plow. Hakol Modim is referencing a Meir and saying Meir holds no. A Ptur Peah is not an hefsek unless you were choresh. Charisha itself evidently is the hefsek, not the Ptur Peah. So, but clearly the inference is Avu Chayav. If there's a different chiyuv peah, which is in the middle of your field, it separates its mafsik between the two sides of the field, and they're chayav and peah separately. Kaidit tninon, like that which we learned. Well, usually it means like that which we learned, as I just translated. But here it means that where do we find, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that chiyuv peah is mafsik as well? Kavanaki changed the gear so to make it more palatable with the what did he change it? Let's look it up. Let's see. From the base in Vilna. V'hein Ashkechon. The change it to V'hein Ashkechon like before. So instead of the thing, V'hein Ashkechon, Rabbi Yomer Chiyuv Peah Mafsik. That was easy. Okay. By the way, whenever the Kavanaki changes things, normally he has a source for it. So I don't necessarily look at the source because you have to look at the introduction, find out what the little letter next to the Hashina Girsa is. So Rabbi Yudan, it's like Tinat Simon. We looked over there. Rabbi Yudan, it said, "Hey Mosai, when are you allowed to harvest? Before you bring the omer, as much if you start harvesting before it grew a third, and therefore obviously it's not going to be ripe in any way, shape, or form. Amivi shlish, if it already grew a third, also liksar. Now the harvest before the omer, for Korban, which is brought on the second day of Pesach. Yiktzor, if he does harvest, chayav peah. He's going to be chayav in peah. V'davar shu chayav peah mafsik. And he says explicitly that the davar mafsik peah, a davar chayav peah, is an interruption. right? He says here, this is all considered to be part of the statement. It's all part of it. It says, Chai Peah, v'davar Chai Peah mafsik. So I just went like the Kavanaki, who says that that is all part of Rabbi Yehuda's statement. It's a little bit difficult to say that. The Gra has a completely different shot, and he erases everything which it says here. Um, but he uh, he holds where Meir Rabbi argue, not like the simple upshot in our Gemara. The Mechal Amayim, which the Aruch HaShulchan's Perush on the Yerushalmi, learns that Yerushalmi only wants to bring a raya that we see that also Rabbi Yehuda, like Rabbi Meir, holds when you harvest it after a third, it's a davar chashuv and it's a chayv and peah. And then you should that so Rabbi Yehuda's statement stops after yiktzar chayv peah. Then and the Yerushalmi then concludes that must be that since Rabbi Yehuda agrees with Rabbi Meir on that point, so therefore also agree with him that chiyuv peah is mafsik as well. Rabbi Zira boy asked, "Kama the Rabbi Yehuda Amar." So you said he's shloy via shlish. If you started before it be you began you started harvesting before the Omer before it was a third grown. I feel via shlish even if it's now became a shlish. Now here the instead of potim in a leket shichon peah, the gra the Din Ephraim the Shai Torah Yisrael changed that to mutter. He's to continue to harvest. That's a lot of people who change it, and I think we're going to go with that change. So Keramer Omer Hiskach Shlo Via Shlish Potter Mina Leket Mishicha Umna Peah. So the Rameir says that since you started a beheter at a time when before it was Hebi Shlish, and you continued after it was maybe Shlish, the same harvest, you're still going to be potter from Leket Shichan Peah, which is a pretty big Kiddush, but that's what he's saying. The thing is, the Shai Torah's Eretz Yisrael changes it from Patin Leket Shichan Peah to Mafsik, and in that case, it's a totally different perspective here. That means that just like going still the Gerson Mutter, he's got Shlevi Shlish Mutter. You can continue, right? He's got Shlevi Shlish, but I feel Hevi Shlish, you have to be mafsik. So it's a little bit difficult to understand the continuity of the Gemara according to the Shai Torah. So I just want to make sure I'm reading it right. No, I'm not reading it right because I made a mistake. No, mafsik, yes, I read it right, but mafsik doesn't mean that. Sorry. Mafsik means you have to stop. And that's interruption. The chiyuv in peah is is mafsik. In other words, yes, you're allowed to continue when the past the time when you was maybe shlish because you started. But now it is chayiv and peah like a shichan peah. It's chayiv, and therefore this area which you were kaitzer after it's heavy shlish is mafsik between the other sides of the field. Once it's gone, you cannot take off. You cannot take off from one side of the area you harvested after it's heavy shlish. On the other side, you cannot harvest from one side, which will have grow to maturity. It's the other side will let go to maturity. In the middle, you have the chiyuv peah of something which grew at shlish, and then you cut it down. So I want to emphasize once again that as we mentioned yesterday, the Yerushalmi is the opposite of the Bavli. In the Bavli, P'tur peah is mapsik, chiyuv peah is not mapsik. In the Yerushalmi, chiyuv peah is mapsik, P'tur peah is not mapsik. So the maskana of the sugya, and according to the Bavli, is very different than the maskana of the sugya according to Yerushalmi, and that's reflected in halachas brought down in Pasal Shulchan, where it says that the where it's potter, Afil kotzer achila makom shekotzer. Afil kom shalav shlish v'choresh makom shekotzer, and you your chorish there as well. High-raised in the second shtei sos is 2 fields. Yesh, and some say the kom shevi shlish afil kotzer lachila adam. Abishlo chorish. Some say if you cut before it's a shlish, it's not roy. It's a ptur peah. You don't even need chorish. Heavy shlish. If it was a shlish, so it's a chiyuv peah, then only chorish mafsik, lo chorish eno mafsik. Then you have to do charisha in order for the mafsik, which seems to be the opposite of what you do Yerushalmi Shita. Just before we finish, because we reached the end of the Amud Beis according to the article, and Ozvadar Halacha Beis, the beginning of the next Amud. But according to the Shita, according to the reading of Rameir as it's written in our Sfarim, means since you're being kotzer l'shachas, you're cutting for animal fodder. Even though you finish your harvesting for animal fodder after it's maybe shlish, it's all considered to fall in the category of animal fodder, and therefore it's all parted from leket shich and peah. Some people learn that Rabbi Zera's obviously. Some of you will learn Rabbi Zera asked a question, and the question was never resolved. He's just bringing it up as theory. Some will learn Rabbi Zera boy made that he stated it. It was a statement because boy could have both meanings. But in any event, according to you understand it's a statement. Whether it says a statement or a question, what he's suggesting, according to our mayor, is that it's kind of like the famous places by and the Gra, which learns the places. The Tosfos says that by Bilam, how can you get in a klola in Rega? And one of the answers is he said Kalem. The other answer says once you start, you can continue. And the Gross learns for this for Zmanei Tefillah that, for example, Mincha, according to the first Pshat in Tosfos, you have to finish Mincha before Shkia. According to the second Pshat in Tosfos, once you started before Shkia, you can continue after Shkia, since it goes after the beginning. And here too, it will be something similar to that. To the second answer in Tosfos, that since you started being koitz l'shachas when it was not chayim lechet shempeah, the entire process of being koitz l'shachas will continue to be parted from lechet shempeah even after it's maybe shlish.